What up, world? It's your boy Big Life. I got some great feedback and not some pretty bad feedback on my little narcissism video. That if if you felt that type of abuse and that isolation and all the great things that happen to come with narcissistic abuse, I'll stop making these videos. Until then, I don't give a F, and I'm not even doing this for you. I'm doing this for the kids. Like deep down, what a narcissist really is just an overgrown child. Now the children are the ones that really suffer. And I feel like if I can impact at least one person's life, then all this will be worth it. It's just really, really unhealthy behavior. And I want to get into a few things of how that would be. So, like most parents want the best for their children. Good parents want to provide the best education possible. They want to see their kids thrive and grow up to be successful, independent adults. You know, most parents work hard to keep their children to become as or more successful than they are. But then there's another kind of parent, oftentimes a borderline and or narcissistic parent, who seems to deliberately sabotage their children's education and development by regularly either changing schools, not providing their kids with stability and consistency that facilitates learning and good school performance, or feeding their kids a poor diet, encouraging prolonged dependence on mommy. Now, the first two parts are not too bad, but the dependence on mommy, making your children codependent on you, lacks the ability of them growing up. Okay? Adding that you're going to compete with your kids for attention and a host of other things is just unhealthy. The first thing, the common reasons why borderline, BPD, narcissistics, NPD, I'm going to start saying it like that, and other personality disorder parenting sabotage their children, one thing is going to be exposure. If the narc has been exposed her shame to a teacher or other parents or coaches or the school administration, she may push the changes to the children's school. So because your mom or dad might have felt ashamed that your coach or your teacher says that you're acting bad, they're going to change schools on you. You know, totally unfair. One could even argue that the narc is just embarrassed and that they're quite shameless and relentless. So more likely her mask of the parent has slipped and she has revealed that she is a problem. Man, this is really touching home, man, because there's so many kids out there that have no idea what's going on, and you know, you have your golden child, which is the kid that can't do any wrong. You have your scapegoat, which is the kid that you blame everything on. There's too many variables into this just to like even try to begin. Like I would need to make like a 30 episode series, so you can even see just like the tip of the iceberg, how deep this type of manipulation goes. And like I said, man, if you're not interested in this, you can go and play that new Taylor Swift video. I really don't care because it's not about you nor me. It's really about the kids right now. So another thing would be winning. The term winning, right? So like say your mom and dad are going through a divorce, you know. During and after a divorce or breakup, the narcissistic person wants to win really bad. Typically means inflicting maximum pain on you or the person abandoning them. Or even if she initiates the breakup, oftentimes the individual weaponizes, you know, shared children and engages in parental alienation. So she'll take, you know, the kids and make you seem like you don't even exist, like the father. She may also try to impoverish you by using the courts to extort as much child and spousal support as possible. She equates winning to hurting you and taking or destroying anything or anyone you care about as far as love and the children. So, kids, if you know somebody that's like this in your family and you live with the person, they've done everything they could to paint that person, which would be the father, to be pretty much the devil. And that's the projection of who they are. They're just you know. I'm gonna talk on some personal stuff. Like, I have actually a great relationship with the mother of my son. When I have my son, she comes and drops him off. I greet her. I say hello. It's completely civil. I don't need to worry about her life. She doesn't worry about mine, and it works. But I don't tell my son, "Hey, what's your mom been up to? Who's she dating? Because it's none of my business." And my son already knows that it's none of my business. And even my son respects that. He's only 10 years old. And as far as what she does when she's with my son, she does the same. She doesn't talk anything bad. We were actually, last time we were in court, I even told the judge, like, "Hey, you know what? The fact that I have to pay child support, it's fine, because it doesn't bother me, because by the time I get my check, money's been taken out. I just don't even have to worry about it. It's like a blessing in disguise." It's what I tell my friends or anybody that's going through the child support systems. Just do it, man. You're gonna be so happy once it happens. Like, I mean, who would say that? Like, I just did. So yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, man. If you're gonna have a kid, if you're not gonna, raise your child, like, at least provide some money. Like, come on. So after winning, then that they would want to just take full control. And since the person, I'm gonna say the narc, she believes that she is absolutely entitled to unilateral control over the children. Like, complete, like, everything. She often sees the children as her property. Like, so you might become property. You're not even a child anymore. So after something pretty serious like a divorce, you're not even. I think prisoners have more rights than children at this point. A prisoner in a jail, in a maximum security prison, has more rights than a child of a narcissist. And you could quote me on that, So even if the courts award a joint decision making regarding schooling and medical issues, the NARC will typically do her best to withhold any information and cut out all the major or minor decision making that is until it's time to pay the bills. So, you don't see your father checking up on, your dentist stuff or anything like that, because the mother, she just makes it her right to, like, not, like, he doesn't count. But we'll take his money, though. Like, come on, children. If you see these things, you have to step up. But be very careful when you step up. You want to probably talk to your counselor at school. Go seek help yourself first. See how deep you've been manipulated. See how deep this blanket has been tossed over your head. Because you won't leave the spider web. You'll stay in Charlotte's web forever. And kids don't deserve that. I don't deserve it. My child doesn't deserve it. And the kids that I see or that were part of my life and that I feel that are still are, like, if I can, I'm gonna fight and give them information, because that's the type of person I am. So that'll bring another point. Children should not raise children, because narcs are often described as a child in an adult's body. Emotionally and physiologically speaking, this is often true. Like, these individuals can be incredibly immature and seem to be stuck at early age of emotional development. Like a mother could watch in amazement as their children surpasses their own emotional maturity. Like, you could have, a narcissistic parent could have their kid already much older than them. And that's just like, man, that'll be ultimate shame for the narc parent. That means like they're just never gonna let go, and they're just gonna ultimately torture the kid for the rest of their life. Until they kick him out of the house, but they'll kick him out and bring him right back in, kick him out, bring him right back in. They won't let the child create the independence. Like if you have an older sibling that still lives with you, and she's almost gonna be 18 or 19, and like there's just no way she's gonna make it out there because she is stuck. Your mother or father has done the best she can to keep her as a baby, because the narcissist is still a baby. And if the narc sees her oldest daughter or son move out, it's the biggest humiliation that they could face. Like, this is pretty serious, Also, like if you have a brother or sister, there's always going to be sibling rivalry, because the mom is often jealous of her own children and sees them as competition for attention, love, admiration, and resources. The possibility that her child may surpass her in school, or in attractiveness, or in popularity, or even in physical fitness, athletic ability, can be very threatening for the narcissist mother. The opposite can also be true. For example, a mom who sees their child's success as a reflection of her worth, and her child, like, she would actually push her to the point of abuse, like Tiger Mom or whatever. So sibling rivalry for one's child can manifest in several ways. Like, for example, the narc mother can tattletale on the child and take pleasures in watching you compete in punishment for misbehavior. Set up children to she could set you guys up so you guys could get in trouble. Feed you junk food, feed you healthy food, feed you really bad food, feed you great food, but just not be really consistent. But the food thing is not even that big of a deal. Having a scapegoat child and a golden child, and pitting them against one another, becoming jealous when a child's father or ex buys them new school clothes, takes them on vacations, to concerts and other special events, and making anything that could happen to a child, good or bad, or about her. Like, some kids don't even see the father physically. Like, could be in another country, and by that point, they've probably grown hatred for the father. And it's not even, there was nothing you could do about it. And the father's somewhere, who knows where, because the mother has alienated him. She has told him all these things. I mean, me firsthand, I witnessed that. Like, I saw that, and I can't say anything. You could probably see it and feel it from my vibe that it was not pretty. And those two, people that were there, like, I really care about them, and I wish I could do something, but I can't. Maybe this information will reach them, and then they can see that, there's just a little bit of hope left, honestly. So yeah, bad role modeling. Parents often lack empathy. They're entitled. They reject personal responsibility for their behavior. That's a big one. So if there's a new relationship she's in, or he's in, like, that new person that walks in, they're gonna be put on this pedestal. Like, wow, look at this person. And you can just see in the person's eyes, the narc, like, how they look like a wolf just about to eat a piece of steak. Like, that's how happy they are, because they got somebody that's going to take the responsibility so she can continue to be a child. So she can continue not to do anything. They'll engage in bullying and intimidation and just being dishonest. Like, how would that affect the morality of a small child? Having all that chaos and, like, extremely dysfunctional relationships, it's no fair play. It's just completely self-obsessed. Now, this one other tip right here is the fear of abandonment. Like, borderline narcissistic fear of abandonment, it may take the form of infantilization, like they turn into infants. So their children or one of their children, this is particularly insidious form of abuse, and in some ways, it's the opposite of a child parent. So you know how when you're a kid and the kid takes care of the baby, so now, I'm sorry, the kid takes care of the adult. So now the adult taking care of the kid, so the parent who engages in that, whether it's fear of abandonment and the need, like the child has to become the parent, because how how is your parent or your mom gonna be like, I'm leaving you, like you're out of here, da 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 da, and like you're just a baby, you're just like, what the fuck, like, so now you have to become your mom's mom. I know what that feels like, because I became my mother's pretty much dad, or I was the man of the house since I was like 7 years old. So there's a big gap in my life as far as being a child that I never had. And maybe that's why I became an alcoholic myself. Maybe that's why I did drugs, because there was just a big part of me that I didn't know how to feel. And, you know, luckily I had some pretty good friends that took me on the right path, and I got rid of all those bad habits. And now, well, before I met my partner, like, I was doing good, but there was still a few cracks, in my foundation, and those little cracks were enough for the narc to see that and just tear it open and bury, put a whole bunch of TNT in there and just explode my shit. And I broke, man. I was just distraught. I was fucking. But one thing is, I wasn't suicidal, but I know, like, me being like, I know I had strength when that happened. But when a kid is born into that, like that type of like mentality, it's like a ticking time bomb. Like, something's gonna happen, and like, I just hope. If I could just help one kid, man, like that's all I'm trying to do, man. Like, don't judge me, man. Like, that's all I'm trying to do. It's out of my heart. And if you feel like I'm fucking up your timeline, then don't watch my videos. Go and watch some fucking stupid new dance hip hop shit. Whatever it is you guys do, I'm doing this for the children, for the youth, because I got a purpose in life. So, bear with me. Shit. So the whole abandonment thing is like, say you got your first girlfriend, right? And like, you're like, oh, fucking nervous, like, wow, everything's beautiful. And you guys are going out, and like, you hit the 3 month mark, and she just automatically stops talking to you. That's it. Like, you go from getting your first kiss to maybe making out for the first time. Like, just that type of connection that with another person, and for it to stop, or you get the silent treatment, that is huge emotional abuse, because you become this person full of life, and then you just become a functioning corpse. You're just dead, and I had a lot of that in my life, and the last few times it was not very fun. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it short this time, and yeah, I hope. I didn't really have time to really research this one. I just wanted to get these thoughts out of my head. So, all right, people, have a good night.